This is Cadillac 2006, Cadillac DTS, and the customer was complaining that anytime he parks the car, the following morning the battery will be drained, and I'm diagnosing it to see which or where is the drone coming from. So there is the setup. I'm using this as my multimeter to measure the current flowing through the system, and I'm using the arm clamp because this cable is too thick. My arm clamp couldn't hold it, so what I did is I used my multimeter and I set it to amps. So when I set it to amps, I used one clip and the other to the battery terminal so that I can get the current flow in the system. So let me turn this multimeter off. So what I did now is now I can use my arm clamp to hold it, and the arm clamp, you see this one, there is no direction written on it, and I've connected to my scope to check. So with the scope, when I connected when you connect it to the scope, you have to set the probe to amp clamp. You have to set the probe to amp. It's always on voltage. So with this one, I've set it to amps. I've set it to amps, so you can see. But if you want to set it to amps, you go to this. You go to preference, then you go to select probe. So the select probe, you hit the probe that you want. If it is 20:1 attenuator or 10x, the 10x will multiply your voltage by 10. So what you see, so let's say, let me choose the 10x. It will multiply my voltage by 10. So now it is in voltage, but it's by 10. So that means every one is 10 volts. Every 1 volt is 10 volts. That's how you can make your conversion, and you know the actual voltage you are drawing. So let me select my, so I select and I choose CC 65 amp clamp. So I select that one, go back, and now you can see it is in amps, which is A. It is in amps. So I'm having, so you can see I'm having 2.984 amps. Is below that, and when you come to the multimeter to check, you see it's 2.864, and this one also is, I will say, is almost around that side. Now if I want my measurement, I can go, then the mean measurement, that's the minimum measurement, then the maximum measurement, and the minimum and the maximum measurement on this one. So everything measured here is in amps, so you can see the amps there. And I've seen the problem, so after connecting it, so when I open the door, so when I open any of the door, the current will go high. So you see there is a spark in it because you can see the lights and the system is up, so you can see the spark in it. So, and you can see the meter also measuring almost approximately to 9 amps, and you can see my measurement is also around 9.3 amps. But with the time base, with this one, whenever you are using this scope, for the time base is to get more information on a particular page. So if I want to get more information on a particular page, I just change it to 1 second, then you could see how slowly it is reading. So whenever there is an event, it will record more. So if I want it to be less, so sometimes I call it the expansion of the waveform. So I used to expand my wave, or I used to contrast my wave. So let me go to 20 seconds. It will be very slow. So 20 seconds. So any event that will happen it will record it on this page. So it gives me more information, and after that I can expand the time base also. So that means from here to here is 20 seconds, 40 seconds. So you can see they've labeled it 20 seconds, 40 seconds, 1 minute, 1 minute, 20 seconds. So that's how it is. So let me go to my previous time setting, which is 500 milliseconds. So any event that occurs, I could see, and you can see it's dropping gradually, and also it is dropping on the multimeter. And I'll give myself some few minutes, around 5. Let me give myself some few minutes for the system to go down, because for the correct amperage it's supposed to be around millivolts, 0 point something millivolts, 0.1, at least 0.1 or below something millivolts. So with this one, that means there is a draw, as the customer was complaining about. So now I've closed all the door latches, so I'll wait for about 15 to 10 minutes, then come back and come and check the amperage. So now after a while, now it's at rest, and you can see it's around 2.8 to 2.9 volts. So now the system is at sleep now. So now I have to check what causes the drawn for 2.8 amps. It's not an easy draw. It's not an easy draw. So it will just drain the battery out. So the customer complained that he recently fixed the AC system in the vehicle, and this is what they did. So they tap power to the AC compressor from this place to the AC compressor, and this is the AC fuse. When you watch it, it's fuse 26. It's fuse 26, and the fuse 26 is the AC fuse. So they took power from it, and not knowing the AC fuse is always on. It's always on. So you can see that the fuse is always on. So this means the clutch actuates anytime. So you can see the AC clutch. You can see the AC clutch down there, and it always actuates anytime you take the fuse out. So what I'll do is I'll take the fuse out, and you can see it is released. So as I've taken the fuse out, I'll go and check my amperage. And now you can see it has dropped totally. So now it's around 19.6 milliamps, and also you can see 0.199 milliamps. So now you can see the current that is drawing. So the whole issue is from the connection that they did in front of the vehicle. And with this one, if I want to expand, I want to extend the line, this line, I have to change the volt. I have to change the volt to, I can do auto will automatically give me the milliamps, but I want something like 5 amps, and you can see 5 amps. So I can expand it with my hand, then push it up, and I can also do auto scale. So it automatically scale it for me, and you can see in the line. So with this one, when I open, I have closed the driver's, I have closed the latch. So when I open it, you can see there will be a spark. Now you can see, you can't see it again. So let me go to 10 volt. Then now you can see it. So you can see it also here that the voltage has changed because I've opened the door. But if I close it, if I close the door, latch, now that I've closed the door latch, you can see it's now dropping gradually. Now it's from 6 amps and it will drop to 0.1 milliamps or 0.2 milliamps. So you can see this one is also dropping, which means the system is now going to sleep. So the whole issue is on the AC relay or the AC component, which is causing the draw, which is causing the battery to drain out. So I'll check why it is that. So now you can see that it has jumped from 2 straight to 3, 0.3 milliamps. You can also see it here. So it's dropping gradually, and when you give it like 10 to 15 minutes, it's supposed to be around 1 or 10. So now what I'll do is I'll go and check my books and see. I'll go and check the wiring diagram and see what connects to the AC relay and AC fuse that is making it light. Even if they've joined, it's supposed not to be activated. So I'll see why the AC is activated. So you can see. Now this fuse supposed to be always lit, like supposed to, it's hot all the time, which is the AC fuse, because it goes into the relay, then the control unit will actuate the relay for the solenoid to activate. So what I'll do now is to help them to fix the issue, I'll rather tap the power that will activate the clutch from this relay, because I don't want to open the whole box and check. So I'll take the power from this relay. So this is the relay. So I'll find for fuse. So with this relay, they've labeled it fuse 1. You can see it fuse. You can see that they've labeled it fuse 1, fuse 2, fuse 3, fuse 5. So I'll do that connection and start the vehicle. So now, although I have fixed the relay current, so we'll start, and you can see there's no actual current which is being drawn, and you can see now the system is asleep and the current draw is not that much, it's almost 0. So you can see for yourself. So what I'll do now is I'll redo the AC connection for them, then we'll call it a fix. So you can see the amperage at which it is drawing. It's around 0.4, which is the compressor clutch. So what I'll do now is I'll turn the ignition off and see if this one will reach 0, 0. That means there will not be any drain again. So that means I can leave this connection and let them see the AC guy to fix the issue for them. So you can see the moment I shut off the engine, now the amperage is almost 0.0. So you can see, let me go, maybe I didn't catch the UK, so I caught that moment it went off. So you can see it dropped the moment I shut down the ignition. The moment I turned the ignition off, it dropped to 0. So you can see it. Thank you for watching. Subscribe to my channel for more videos.